So a bit about the training. It's a level 3 accredited qualification, and that's accredited through the College of Mediators, who we are members of. We are going to be delivering it as a mixture of live Zoom workshops and pre-recorded webinars, plus one assessment day, which we hope to do as a face-to-face session in October. All that is the equivalent of 6 full days training. So the webinars will need to have been watched before the Zoom sessions, because there'll be input and demonstrations and information in that that will be used in the subsequent Zoom sessions. But we don't, if we're having to do it in this way, Joanna and I don't want to use her time doing what I'm doing now, talking to the group. We want to use the time to have discussion, to practice, and I've recently come across a phrase which some of you might be familiar with. Joanna talks about skills practice all the time. So that's deliberate on our part, because we're helping to develop or equip you with new skills, and you need to practice them. And recently I was speaking to somebody who says we do lots of real play as opposed to role play. And again, that's what we're trying to do. And I really love that term, real play. When you're learning a new skill, swimming, tennis, playing chess, whatever it is, gaming, the more you do it, the better you become at it. Mediation's no different. It's a skill. You have to practice it to become competent at it. Doing the training does not qualify you to be a mediator. So going into this, you need to be prepared to have a go. Yes, you'll be thrown in at the deep end, because your first mediation will be scary, but you're going to be with an experienced, competent co-mediator. So if the first one you just do the introduction, that's okay. And then the second one, you might do the introduction again, but feel more comfortable doing the introduction. And it's about building and having a go. Your co-mediator will rescue you if you get stuck. And that's the way we will practice that for real in the training. You've just got to do this stuff. There's no alternative. We ask, because we don't charge for this training, that you agree to volunteer with SMART for a minimum of 1 year. We have mediators who've been mediating with us for years and years and years, which is fantastic. And then, of course, we have people who do the year, 18 months, and their circumstances change and they can't do that. We understand that that's the nature of volunteering. We're investing an awful lot in you if you do this. 6 full days training. If you were to pay for this training, you'd be looking anything between £1,500 and £2,000. And then you'd still need to find somewhere to practice, because it doesn't make you a qualified mediator just doing the training. So we're giving you all that as a package, and we're fully subsidising that, because we value your time and energy afterwards. I've put an average time of about 3 hours a week in terms of your commitment to mediating. Ange will say, if only it were that simple. It isn't, because we don't know how many referrals we're going to get in. They don't necessarily come in a nice steady workflow. So sometimes we're inundated, as we are now, and other times it's a drought and we're not getting referrals through, which is a worry for me, because then our mediators aren't practicing. So we'll do support groups and we'll do some skills practice and we'll keep our hand in. So it doesn't neatly work out at 3 hours a week, but we ask that you give regular availability, which doesn't tie you down to that 3 hours every week if your circumstances change, but it gives us a really good idea of when we can make appointments for people and get the sessions going, because the sooner we can get people to speak to mediators once we get the referral, the more likely they are to go through the whole process and get to a joint meeting. The longer the delay in setting up an appointment, and one of the challenges for us is not having enough mediators available, we're more likely to lose them. And people run out of steam and energy. And finally, I've mentioned about support groups and skills practice, but we also provide supervision, group supervision a couple of times a year, although we put sessions on quarterly. but one-to-one supervision if someone's had a tricky case and they just need to get it off their chest and talk about it. So that's a very whistle-stop overview of the commitment and what's involved with the training.